So let's go. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. In 1898, a psychologist named Edward Thorndike. Yes, we read it and we continue to this type of this side, right? I end on this page. So continue from this side. You see clear, no? Then I go to write. When do I pay the bills? Then you have less time for freedom. It is only by making the fundamentals of life easier that you can create the mental space needed for free thinking and creativity. Conversely, when you have your habits dialed in and the basics of life are handled and done, your mind is free to focus on new challenges and master the next set of problems. Building habits in the present allow you to do more or what you want in the future. So मैं भी एक आदत बना रही हूँ जिससे मेरा फ्यूचर अच्छा हो, या फिर मैं फ्यूचर में कुछ अपनी रूल्स रेगुलेशंस फॉलो कर पाऊँ एंड गुड हैबिट फॉलो कर पाऊँ एंड डिक्लटर माय बैड वंस. ओके, सो द साइंस ऑफ हाउ हैबिट्स वर्क. The process of building a habit can be divided into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. Breaking it down into these fundamental parts can help us understand what a habit is, how it works, and how to improve it. Cue. Number one, cue. Number two, craving. Number three, response, not react. Number three, response. And number four, reward. Cue, craving, response, and reward. क्यों करना चाहते हैं, किस लिए करना चाहते हैं, क्या रेस्पॉन्स देंगे उस चीज़ के लिए, फिर उसको रिवॉर्ड भी देंगे. टाइम. All habits proceed through 4 stages in the same order: cue, craving, response, and reward. This 4 step pattern is the backbone of every habit, and your brain runs through these steps in the same order each time. First, there is the cue. The cue triggers the brain to initiate a number last. Readers of the Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg will recognize these terms. Duhigg wrote a great book, and my intention is to pick up where he left off by integrating these stages into 4 simple laws you can apply to build better habits in life and work. I think I shut off my lights. Okay, right? Heavier. It is a bit of information that predicts a reward. Our prehistoric ancestors were paying attention to cues that signal the location of primary rewards like food, water, and sex. Today, we spend most of our time learning cues that predict secondary rewards like money and fame, power and status, praise and approval, love and friendship, or a sense of personal satisfaction. Of course, these pursuits also indirectly improve our odds of survival and reproduction, which is the deeper motive behind everything we do. Your mind is continuously analyzing your internal and external environments for hints of where rewards are located. Because the cue is the first indication that we are close to reward, it naturally leads to a craving. Cravings are the second step, and they are the motivational force behind every habit. Without some level of motivation or desire, without craving or change, we have no reason to act. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. You don't crave Smoking a cigarette, you crave the feeling of relief it provides. You are not motivated by brushing your teeth, but rather by the feeling of a clean mouth. You don't want to turn on a television, you want to be entertained. Every craving like it would desire to change your internal state. This is an important point that we will discuss in detail later. Cravings differ from person to person. In theory, any piece of information could trigger our craving, but in practice, people are not motivated by the same cues. For a gambler, the sound of slot machines can be a potent trigger that sparks an intense wave of desire. For someone who rarely gambles, the jingles and chimes of the casino are just background noise. Cues are meaningless until they are interpreted. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the observer are what transfer a cue into craving. The third step is to the response. The response is the actual habit you perform, which can take the form of a thought or an action. Whether a response occurs whether a response occurs depend on how motivated you are and how much friction is associated with the behavior. If a particular action if a particular requires more physical or mental effort than you are willing to expend, then you will not do it. Your response also depends on your ability. It sounds simple, but a habit can occur only if you're capable of doing it. If you want to drink a basketball but can't jump high enough to reach the hoop, well, you are out of luck. Finally, the response delivers a reward. Rewards are the end goal of our every habit. The cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward. The response is about obtaining the reward. We chase rewards because they serve two purposes. They satisfy us and they teach us. They satisfy us and they teach us. The first purpose of reward is to satisfy your cravings. Yes, rewards provide benefits on their own. Food and water provide the energy. Eating portion brings more money and respect. Eating safe improves your health and your dating prospects. But the more immediate but the more immediate benefit the rewards satisfy your craving to eat or to gain status or to win approval. At least for a moment, rewards give us contentment relief from craving. Second, rewards teach us which actions are worth remembering in the future. Your brain is a reward detector. As you go about your life, your sensory nervous system determining which action satisfies your desire and deliver is a feeling of pleasure and disappointment, part of the feedback mechanism. That helps your brain distinguish useful actions from useless ones. Reward close the feedback loop and come to the answer. If a behavior is inconsistent, many of our not become a habit. And let the cue and your habit will never start. Reduce the cravings and you will not experience the behavior difficult and you will not be able to do it. And if the reward fails to satisfy the desire, then you will have no reason to do it again. Future without the first three steps, a behavior will not occur. Without all four, a behavior will not be repeated. Cue, craving, response, reward. Cue, craving, response, and reward. The habit loop. Figure the four stages of habit are best described as a feedback loop. The form as an endless cycle that is see right. They form an endless cycle that is running every moment you are alive. That this habit loop is continually scanning the environment, predicting that will happen next, trying out different responses and learning from the results. In summary, the cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving, and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Together, these four steps form a neurological feedback loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. Thus, do you feel when your reserve specific combination of the influence on the brain vision of the habit loop is a combination of language that was applied by Duhick's book, The Power of Identity Design, that was applied by Yale's book, Hooked. Cue, craving, response, and reward. What is my reward of 30 minutes reading is I am doing something hobby like singing, music listening, physical exercise, and anything smoothing like watching my plants after 30 minutes. I'm doing something great. Cue, craving, response, reward that ultimately allows you to create automatic habits. This cycle is known as the habit loop. This four step process is not something that happens occasionally, but rather it is an endless feedback loop that is running and active during every moment you are alive. Even now, the brain is continually scanning the environment, predicting what will happen next, trying out different responses and learning from the results. The entire process is completed in a split second, and we use it again and again without realizing everything that has been packed into this is the right that is dependent into the previous moment. We can split these four steps into two phases: the problem phase and the solution. The problem phase includes the cue and the craving, and it is when the realizing the needs to change. The solution phase includes the response and the reward. It is when you realize that something needs to change. The solution phase includes the response and reward. That is when you take action and achieve the change you desire. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? ना तो हम क्यों करते हैं ना क्रेविंग करते हैं. सॉल्यूशन क्या है? रेस्पॉन्स भी देना पड़ेगा एंड रिवॉर्ड भी देना पड़ेगा. All behavior is driven by the desire to solve a problem. Sometimes the problem is that you notice something good and you want to obtain it. Sometimes the problem is that you are experiencing pain and you want to relieve it. Either way, the purpose of every habit is to solve the problems you face. In the table on the following page, you can see a few examples of what this looks like in real life. Imagine walking into a dark room and flipping on the light switch. You have performed this simple habit so many times that it happens without thinking. You push it through fraction of a second as to extract you without thinking. By the time we become adults, we rarely notice the habits that are we cue, craving, response, and rewards. This is a table and we read. Okay. Your phone buzzes with a new text message. Take you want to learn the contents of the message. Take you grab your phone and read the rest. You satisfy your hearing your phone because your phone buzzing. You're answering email. You're getting into feel stress and overwhelmed by work. You want to feel in control. You bite your nails. You satisfy your hearing to distract. Also, you with answering email. You wake up, you want to feel alert, you drink a cup of coffee, you satisfy your hearing, feel alert, drinking coffee becomes a waking up. You smell a donut shop as you walk down the street near your office. You begin to crave a donut. You buy a donut and eat it. You satisfy your donut. Buying a donut becomes necessary with walking down the street near your office. ठीक है. You hit a stumbling block on a project at work. You feel stuck and you want to relieve the frustration. You pull out your phone and check social media. You satisfy your associated with thought. At you walk into a dark room, you want to be able to see, you flip the lights, you satisfy the craving to see. You are craving to see, turning on the lights, you become associated with being in a dark room. Running our lives, most of us never give a second thought to the fact that we tie the same sofas each morning or unplug the toaster. Or always change into comfortable clothes after getting home from work. After decades of mental programming, we automatically slip into these patterns of thinking and acting. And follow the behavior change in the following chapters. We will see time and again how the four stages of cue craving response and reward influence nearly everything we do each day. But before we do that, we need to transform this four stages into practical framework that we can use to design good habits and element find design good habits and element once I refer to this framework as the four law of behavior and it provides a simple set of rules for creating good habits and breaking bad ones. You can think of each law as a level that influences human behavior. When the levels are in the right position, creating good habits effortless. When they are in the right, the first law cue make it obvious how to create a good habit. Make it obvious. Second law craving make it attractive. Make it easy. Reward make it satisfying. We can invert this law to learn how to break a bad habit. Cue make it invisible. Craving make it unattractive. Response make it difficult. Reward make it unsatisfying. It would be irresponsible for me to claim that these four laws are an exhaustive framework for changing any human behavior, but I think they are close as you will soon see. The four laws of behavior change apply to nearly every field from sports, politics, art to medicine, comedy to management. These laws can be used to no matter what challenge you are facing. There is no need for completely different strategy for each other. Whenever you want to change your behavior, you can simply ask yourself, how can I make it obvious? How can I make how can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy? How can I make it satisfying? Obvious, attracting, easy, and satisfying. If you have ever wondered why don't I do what I say I am going to do? Why don't I lose the weight or stop smoking or save the retirement or start that side business? Why do I say something is important but never seem to make time for it? The answer to those questions can be found somewhere in these four laws. The key to creating good habits and breaking bad ones is to understand these fundamental laws and how to alter them to your specification. Every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. Your habits are shaped by the system in your life. In the chapters that follow, we will discuss these laws and so how you can use them to create a system in which good habits emerge naturally and bad habits wither away. Chapter 7 of habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough time to become automatic. The ultimate purpose of habit is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. This can be broken down into feedback loop that involve first cue, craving, response, and reward. The four laws of behavior change are a simple set of rules. क्यों क्रेविंग ये क्या है ये छोड़ सकते हैं चार चीज़ों को बढ़ा सकते हैं एंड फोर लॉज ऑफ बिहेवियर क्या है मेकिंग इट बिल्ड बेटर है दे आर मेक इट ऑब्वियस मेक इट अट्रैक्टिव मेक इट easy and make it satisfying obvious attractive easy and satisfying the first law make it obvious now we are studying the first law make it obvious the man who didn't look right. Then the man who didn't look right. The psychologist Gary Klein once told me a story about a man who attended a family gathering. He had spent years Rick and upon arriving at the event, they again took one look at her father and then got very concerned. I don't like the way you look, she said. Hello, who was feeling perfectly fine, jokingly replied, well, I don't like your looks either. No, she insisted. You need to go to the hospital now. A few hours later, the man was undergoing life-saving surgery after an examination revealed that he had a blockage at one major was at immediate risk of heart attack. Without his daughter-in-law in institution, he could have died. What did the paramedics say? How did they predict his impending heart rate? When major arteries are obstructed, the body focuses on sending blood to crucial organ and away from peripheral location near the surface of the skin. The result is a distribution of blood in the face after many years of working with heart failure. The woman had unknowingly developed the ability to recognize this pattern inside. She couldn't explain what it was that she noticed in her father-in-law's face, but she knew something was wrong. Similar story exists in other fields. For example, military analysis can identify which blip on a radar screen is an enemy missile and which one is a plane outfit, even though they are traveling at the same speed, flying at the same altitude, and look identical on radar in nearly every aspect. During the Gulf War, Lieutenant Commander Michael Raleigh saved an entire battleship when he ordered a missile shot down. Despite the fact that it looked exactly like the battleships on planes on radar, he made the right call, but even his superior officers couldn't explain how he did it. Museum curators have been known to discern the difference between the authentic piece of art and an expertly produced counterfeit, even though they can't tell you precisely which levels to them of experience. Radiologists can look at a brain scan and the area where a stroke will develop before any obvious signs are visible to the untrained eye. I have even heard of hard hairdressers noticing whether a client is pregnant based only on the feel of her hair. The human brain is a prediction machine. It is continuously taking in your surroundings and analyzing the information it comes across. Whenever you experience something repeatedly, like a paramedic seeing the face of a attack, a military analyst seeing a missile on or a radar screen, your brain begins noticing what is important, sorting through the details, the relevant cues, and cataloging that information for future use. With enough practice, you can pick up on the cues that predict certain outcomes without consciously thinking about it. Automatically, your brain encodes the lesson learned through experience. We can't always explain what it is we are learning, but learning is happening all along the way. On the way, and your ability to notice the relevant cues in a given situation is the foundation for every habit you have. We underestimate how much our brains and bodies can do without thinking. You don't tell your hair to grow, your heart to pump, your lungs to breathe, your stomach to, and yet your body handles all this and more on autopilot. You are much more than your conscious self. Consider hunger. How do you know when you are hungry? You don't necessarily have to see a cookie to realize on the counter to realize this is that it is time to eat. Appetite and hunger are governed non-consciously. Your body has a variety of feedback loops that gradually alert you when it is time to eat again and that tells what is going on around you and within you. Cravings can arise thanks to hormones and chemicals circulating through your body. Suddenly you are hungry even though you are not quite sure what to you off. This is the most surprising insight about your habits. You don't need to be aware of the cue for a habit to begin. You can notice an opportunity and you can notice an opportunity and take action without dedicating conscious attention to it. This is what makes habits useful. It is also what makes them dangerous. As habits form, your action come under the direction of your automatic and unconscious mind. You fall into old patterns before you realize what is happening. Unless someone points it out, you may notice that you cover your mouth with your hands whenever you apologize before asking a question or what you have a habit of finishing other people's sentences, and the more you less likely you become to question what you are doing and why you are doing it. I once heard of a retail clerk who was instructed to cut up empty gift. I once heard of a retail clerk who was instructed to cut up empty gift Cards after the customers had used up the balance on the card. One day, the clerk called out a few customers in a row who purchased with gift cards. When the next person walked up, had the customers actual credit card picked up the scissors and then cut it in half entirely and automatically before looking up at the customer and realizing what had just happened. Another woman I came across in my research was a former preschool teacher who had switched to a public even though she was now working with adults. Her old friend and she kept asking coworkers if they had washed their hands after leaving to. So found the story of a man who had spent years working as a lifeguard and would openly yell walk whenever he saw a child running. Overplaying the cues and that spark of a habit becomes so common that they are essentially invisible. The kids on the kitchen counter, the remote control next to the couch, the phone in our pocket, our response to these skills are so deeply encoded that it feel like the urge to act comes from now. For this reason, we must begin the process of behavior change with awareness. Before we can actually build new habits, we need to get a handle on our current be more challenging that it sounds because once a habit is firmly rooted in your life, it is mostly non-conscious and automatic. It is a habit that must find you can't expect to improve it. As the psychologist Carl Jung said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The habit scorecard. The Japanese system is regarded as one of the best in the world. If you ever find yourself riding a train in Tokyo, you will notice that the conductors have a peculiar habit. As each operator turns the train, they proceed through a ritual of pointing at different objects and calling out commands. When the train approaches a signal, the operator will point at it and the signal is green. As the train pulls into and out of each station, the operator will point at the speedometer and call out the exact speed. When it is leave, the operator will point at the timetable and state the time. Out on the platform, the other employer performing similar actions before each train departs, staff members will point along the edge of the platform to clear all clear. Every detail is identified, pointed, and named aloud. This process known as pointing and calling is a safety system designed to reduce mistakes. It seems silly, but it works incredibly well. Pointing and calling reduces error by up to 85% and cause accidents by 30%. The MTA subway system in New York City, the modified version that is point only and within 2 years implemented incidents of incorrectly brother but the service fell 57%. Pointing and calling is so effective because it raises the level of awareness and a non-conscious habit to a more conscious level. Because in operators must use their eyes, hands, mouth, and ears, they are more likely to notice problems before something goes wrong. My wife does is something similar whenever we are preparing to walk out the door for a trip. She verbally calls out the most essential pointing and calling. When I visited Japan, I saw this strategy save a woman's life. Her young son stepped onto the Shinkansen, one of Japan's famous bullet trains that travel 200 miles per hour. Just as the doors were closing, she was left outside on the platform and jammed her arm through the door to grab him. With her arm stuck in the door, the train was about to take off, but right before it pulled away, an employee performed a safety check by pointing and calling up and down the platform. In less than 5 seconds, he noticed the woman and managed to stop the train from leaving. The door open. The woman, now in tears, ran to her son, and a minute later, the train departed safely. Items in my packing list. I have items in my packing list. I have got my keys. I have got my wallet. I have got my glasses. I have got my headband. Wallet, Aadhaar card. Like I am telling, like I have my keys, my wallet, my Aadhaar card, my bag, my everything. Yeah. The more automatic a behavior becomes, the less likely we are to consciously think about it. And when we have done something 1,000 times before, we begin to overlook things. We assume that the next time we will be just like the last. We are so used to doing that. We have always done that. We don't stop to question whether it is the right thing to do at all. Many of our failures and performance are largely attributable to a lack of self-awareness. One of our greatest challenge in changing habits is maintaining awareness of what we are actually doing. This help explains This helps explain why the consequences of bad habits can sneak up on us. We need a point and call system for our personal lives. That is the origin of the habit scorecard, which is a simple exercise you can use to become more aware of your behavior. To create your own, make a list of your daily habits. Here is simple. Here is a sample of where your list might start. Now it is time. I think I should finish this. Here is a sample of where your list might start. Wake up, turn off alarm, check my phone. No, I think it is this is wake up, turn off alarm, check my phone, go to the bathroom, weigh myself, take a shower, brush my teeth, floss my teeth, put on deodorant, hang up towel to dry, get dressed, make a cup of tea. Right? Stop. Wake up, turn off alarm, check my phone. Good. Here simple way your list might start ऐसे होती है. ठीक है. And so on. Once you have a full list, look at each behavior and ask yourself, is this a good habit, a bad habit, or a neutral habit? If it is a good habit, write plus next to it. If it is a bad habit, write minus. If it is a neutral habit, equal. For example, the list above might look like this. Wake up सही बात है. Turn off alarm भी सही बात है. Check my phone not. Go to the bathroom good. Weigh myself plus. Take a shower ये plus है. Brush my teeth, floss my teeth good. Put on deodorant ये plus. Hang up towel to dry neutral या get dressed भी neutral है. Make a cup of tea ये positive है. Sorry, we start after 5 minutes rest.